Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to make a short list of games that you could easily play and download from itch, play tonight, or really any other time. Maybe you just want like an instant streaming segment or footage for a YouTube video. Maybe you just want to play some scary games with your friends. Either way, I hope you find this list to your liking. I played and completed each of these games, but I'd recommend them to anyone. These games are mostly 15 to 30 minutes of gameplay, but several can take a few hours to complete. I hope you enjoy, and remember, if you really like any of these games, they are free, so check out the devs and throw them a bit of support, if you can. You can find links to all the games in the description below the video. The games aren't really in any particular order, but I did put the game that I think is scariest last. Thanks again, everybody, and have a happy Halloween. Pumpkin Panic is a charming, lightly themed Halloween farming sim with a few twists. This is the spooky farming sim that you've been looking for. You farm crops through the day and night while avoiding cryptids that want to kill you for some reason. It's pretty addicting, and while it's technically pretty short, it has a steep learning curve, and you may find yourself spending way more time with it. I hope there's going to be more to this game eventually, and more in-depth gameplay. It can be completed in about a 30 to 40 minute run, but I suck so much that it took me about 4 hours. The Final Pin is a nice little mystery horror thriller. You follow the story of a rookie small-town cop on the trail of an odd case of occurrences. There's an interesting supporting cast, and the game is fully voice acted. There's a detective noir-like aesthetic to the game, combined with some goofy characters. It really made me think of Deadly Premonition, in a good way. It's a bit longer than the others on this list, and it takes about 2 hours to complete. Liminal Gallery is a first-person puzzle game that doesn't really have any blatant horror elements, but as the name suggests, there are a few elements present here that you may find otherworldly and psychedelic at times. Specifically, in Liminal Gallery, you place pictures to alter your surroundings and solve the puzzles. It's a very similar concept to Viewfinder, which the dev notes is an inspiration for this game. It takes about 15 to 30 minutes to complete. Concluse is a game that I played a while ago, but I still think about it from time to time. It's got this extremely surreal, dreamlike quality to it, but it should be a familiar theme to any survival horror fan. Wife gone. Although this is more of a puzzle adventure walking sim, and not entirely a survival horror game, there's a major focus on the really neat aesthetic. It's like a David Lynch sequence wrapped in electric tape. It really reminded me a lot of the more dreamlike portions of Twin Peaks: The Return. I don't really even know how to explain it. It's a bit longer, but it's free on Steam and itch, and it's pretty ambitious. I really enjoyed it. I think a second one is coming out soon. It's the longest game on the list, and it took me about 4 hours. The Hemoglobin Project is a fun FPS with a lot of inspiration taken from games like Resident Evil and other survival horror. You wake up in a rundown hospital and you have to find your way out while gathering information on what led to the state of the hospital and why you're even there in the first place. It's a pretty fun shoot. There's some good mechanics. Unfortunately, the dev has moved on from working on this game, but it's still worth a visit. And it is really short. It can be completed in about 20 to 30 minutes. Dead Cedar is another game I played a few years ago, so my memories are a bit dim, but I remember being pretty impressed with it. This game really reminded me of the original Alone in the Dark. It's easily reminiscent of several early horror games with the tank controls, the backtracking, but it doesn't really have any combat to speak of, except for avoiding a few monsters. It makes you work a little bit, the slowly unfolding mystery of the house that you've come to visit while you're there, but it should be enough to keep you interested. It's really slow burn, but I think that pays off if you let yourself get immersed and you're patient with it. It can be a little confusing at a few points, so you really need to stick with it. There's a lot of backtracking. It's almost like an adventure point and click, but there's some really, actually beautiful fixed camera shots. It's really cinematic. It's a little longer, takes about an hour, maybe 30 minutes to complete. The Slide in the Woods is one of the shorter games on this list, but still one of my favorites. You come upon an eerie slide complete with an attached jungle gym of sorts in the middle of the woods. Did you see it? Anyways, there's a bit more to this game than there seems, but not much can be said without really ruining it. It can be completed in about 25 minutes. Incident at Grove Lake is loosely based on the film Fire in the Sky and the story of Travis Walton. This is more of a visual experience and a walking sim than a game, but it's still worth checking out. You live out the events of his abduction through a few scenes captured on VHS tape. It's pretty short, it's about 20 minutes, but it's visually haunting and pretty bizarre. I'm really happy to see this resurgence of alien abduction games that actually have a bit of substance to them. The short form really suits something like this without overstaying its welcome or wandering in the woods for 50 minutes. Like I said, this can be completed in about 20 minutes. The Slide in the Woods is one of the shorter games on this list, but it's still one of my favorites. You come upon an eerie slide in a jungle gym of sorts in the middle of the woods. There's quite a bit more to this game than there seems, but I can't really say a lot without ruining it. It can be completed in about 25, 30 minutes. The House in the Woods is easily the scariest game on this list, but it's so short that I don't really want to say too much about it. It's a Blair Witch fan game of sorts, but I think even that is an unfair assessment of the game. The tiny details in the sound design really put most AAA devs to shame. It's short, it's sweet, but extremely memorable. I love a good little spooky tale that gets in and out without overstaying its welcome. It's about 20 minutes. Hey, wow, you made it all the way through. Again, if you enjoy any of these games, check out the devs, throw them a little support. I provided the links to each of the games I mentioned below. If you want to watch playthroughs of any of these games, I also created a playlist of all my playthroughs that you can check out. And thanks for watching. Have a happy Halloween.